Hey y'all, welcome to Art of the Budget. Today we're doing a budget check-in for weeks 3 and 4 of February 2020. If you're new here, my name is Nicole. My pronouns are she and her, and I live in the Pacific Northwest on what is the traditional territory of the Coast Salish nations. And I'm an artist and educator currently learning about budgeting, saving, and planning for retirement and financial freedom. So let's get into this. I've got a lot of transactions. This month, I kind of had a double whammy. One, I really quickly in the month rolled right up to my limits, and then I just plowed right through them. So I really busted the budget in some areas this month. I don't know why. Yeah, I was a short month, and I think I just didn't plan very well. So I'm just gonna get into it. We're just gonna throw those transactions in, and then I'm gonna reconcile for the month. The second whammy was that something happened with my paycheck. Payroll was not sure what happened, but basically I didn't get paid for 20 hours. And so my paycheck was like about $400 short. They asked me if I needed them to process the correction check immediately or if I could just have them add it to the next check. And because I am kind of 1 month ahead, I just realized that I'm not really paycheck to paycheck anymore, which is pretty amazing. But because of that, I could just wait till the next paycheck. I actually had a lot of savings planned. In addition to my funds that go to retirement accounts, I had, I think, almost $1,000, over $1,000 going into savings. And so I'm just going to be able to adjust that those amounts, and then that means that they'll be higher next month. So that's how I'm choosing to deal with it. I'm pretty excited to realize that I'm not exactly paycheck to paycheck anymore. I mean, I technically wasn't because I, I have my emergency fund now, but like for sort of how I do things, I'm able to flow that to the next check. So let's go ahead and get into it because there definitely are plenty of transactions. So something that I noticed was that I had a lot of grocery store transactions. There certainly are a lot of ingredients I purchased. Like actually yesterday was my birthday and I had a few friends over and everyone brought stuff, but I wanted to make sure to have a few things. And I spent kind of a pretty penny, actually about $60 at the store. And those, I bought some like pickled things, some cheeses, and actually things that I have a lot left over of. So a lot of that's going to go into the next month, but I just wasn't planning. And so I bought like a lot more than I need, if that makes sense. So let's get into it. Okay. So I'm going to just adjust this really quick. Okay. So the first thing on the list is actually going to go into my fun money. And that is a pin that I bought at the clay store. I actually went to pick up materials for my job. And they had this pin by an artist that I had been admiring for a while. It's a little enamel pin of a kiln, and then there's a work in the kiln. And when you cup your hands around it, the work glows. So I picked that up for $8.79. And I'm putting that in my fun category. And I would also consider that kind of a little birthday gift to myself because, yes, my birthday was yesterday. I turned 41. And, I'm not like, I don't have a lot of things I need, but I definitely didn't need that pin. But it was nice to just get something I'd admired for a while and liked a lot. Okay, so I'm going to go into daily living because, like I said, a lot of these things are grocery related. So $61.81 at Fred Meyer. That was again to pick up like cheeses, crackers, and pickled things. And a lot of those things, especially like the pickled things, were left over, so I'll have them in my fridge. I always have a lot of like pickled, both house-made and purchased things in my fridge. So $61.81 into groceries. I ordered Jimmy John's yesterday for lunch. I hadn't brought my lunch. The cafeteria just does fish and chips on Friday, and I was not interested. And so I did Jimmy John's, which is not cheap. It was $18.77. I will say that it certainly is expensive, and I don't necessarily love supporting Jimmy John's. When I order that, I'm always very satisfied by it, so that's pretty good. Okay, so I did a couple of weird things this month. Not really weird because, not really weird, but just like maybe I should have waited till March to do them. So I opened a stash account and I put $15 in it. I'm going to do a talk next week at a college in town, and I thought maybe people would ask about robo advising, and I got an email with like a special where if I put in a little bit of money, I would get $20 for free. And I thought, well, might as well just try it out in case anyone asks about it. It's been really funny and interesting. I'll probably make a video about it. But that was $15.33. And I guess I'm gonna put that in fun money too, because it definitely is fun money. I bought like some fractional shares of stocks. So fun money for sure. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of some of these restaurants and grocery things. So cafe for $5.50. Y'all know that I'm usually a big bringer of my lunch, and I just did not do that a lot this month. That was definitely a trend. So that's that. Cafe $3.50. Cafe $7. Hagen $55.95. That's a grocery run. CSA deposit, I mentioned this in my plan. I'm planning to do a produce CSA this like summer and fall, and I deposited $200. It's about $400 total for 4.5 months of veggie delivery, so I think it's going to be really well worth it. I'm hoping that that will bring my grocery bills down, because between that and the meat delivery service, most of my meals should be covered, and then I'll just be buying like flour for bread or various other like accoutrements. So we'll see when that time comes. Okay, Smart Foods, that was a grocery thing, $19.50. The wrong one. Let's see, any other? Oh yeah, plenty. Okay. So, okay. Heroes plus $10.50. Cafe $1.50. Yeah. Safeway $46.53. These areas of red are just kind of just a lot. It's cool though. It's fine. Gross out $47.89. So this is about 2 weeks of transactions, because I didn't do a video last week. Let's see. TJ Maxx $10.37. I actually picked up some glass containers with the lock lids, and so that's going to go into household. General eating out. So I did pull a little bit of cash out, $20, and then that was mostly ended up being used for eating out, like of various things. So that was $20. That's going to go into restaurants. All right. I think that's all that. Oh yeah, Walgreens $38.52. Actually, let's go ahead and scroll down here. That's going to go into health. That was to buy a couple of months worth of Zyrtec, which is like a lifesaver for me out here. So that's going to go into health. I'm going to be a little over there, but that's okay. Oh yeah, I bought some art. We have an event called the Postcard Show, and I bought a few pieces of artwork from it. That was $24.05. It's definitely very affordable, but unfortunately I'm going to go over my art budget. And I also donated to an organization called Crafting the Future. I started a monthly ongoing donation, but I realized when I did it that the first one would come out in February. So that was $25.75. So I'm a little over there too. Maybe it's not ideal. It's not ideal. Okay. Still so many transactions. No big deal. Okay. So I'm going to go down to Kitties, and I did pick up medicine for one of my cats. I've mentioned this before. They're on several medications, I think 2 medications each now. And so I do need to kind of take a minute and try to get it so that I'm like picking up at the same time instead of just picking up medicines like they run out, I pick it up, and then another one runs out and I pick it up. But I'm getting there. 68.18 goes into kitties. I'm gonna scroll on down. I did give my niece $50 for her birthday, and that just goes into a special account. The goal is to make her a Roth IRA, but when her and her family are ready for that. I also paid for a rental car for my spring trip. That was $233.23 for a week of rental car, and that's going to go into upcoming travel. Okay. Just running around here and there. All right, so I did have a $5 community support. This is another monthly thing that I'm doing regularly, and that's going to go into sharing my income. Electric and internet came out. And the electric was $43.64. Internet was $79.95 as usual. Actually, while I am here, I will add that rent came out. So just throw that in. All right. Oh, let's see. Going down to cats. Sorry. All right, going down to cats. Also, Chewy came out, and I'm wondering if that's, I wonder if that is, well, I'm going to go ahead and put that in $71.64 for their cat food. It came weirdly, it felt like in the middle of the month, and it's usually something that comes at the beginning of the month, so I'm going to look at that too. I was actually thinking recently that I need to stock up on some cat food because sort of like as it's about to run out, the next one comes, which is great. But because we live like in a place that's earthquake vulnerable, like we should have a stock of food. So I have been, as you know, stocking up on their medicines, getting more than 1 month at a time. And then I need to be doing that with their food. But I'll work on that next month or, March, which is happening tomorrow. Okay. I paid my student loans. Oh, wait, I went to Sonic. That was $9.71. And I paid my student loans. So I'm going to throw that down there. That was $303.24. Okay, we're almost done here. Now, REI Blundstones, I did buy new boots, and they were about $213. And then they were the wrong kind, so I brought them back, but I'd gotten a gift card, which they encouraged me to keep and use toward the pair that I would buy online so I could get the right kind. And I did that, and that price changed to $175.15, but then the shoes came and they were the wrong size. Blundstones have Australian sizing, and I guess I had selected the Australian size, but the American size came. So I'm going to bring them back. So I'm going to continue to let this transaction ride, and that will be reflected in next month's because right now I still don't have my shoes. Okay, now I had some income. Let's check that out. Okay, first of all, I got my tax return. That was $522. I think whatever I choose, whatever I claim for my taxes works out pretty well because even though I do some 1099 work, I rarely have to pay in. So it sort of just works for the way I do things. I have never gotten a huge return, and I've only had to pay in a little bit a couple of times. So it works out really well for me. So I'm going to put this into reimbursements. And then paycheck one was the usual $2,078.74. But paycheck two is only $1,737.05. So that is short. That will show up next month. And so I'm going to adjust in my reconciliation to reflect that. So stay tuned for that reconciliation where I figure out how to deal with this seriously broken budget. Look at that. This is actually less bad than I expected it to be. So I will see you in the next video. Hope you're doing well. Let me know how your February went, and I will see you in the next